Welcome back to Share the Pants. Today we're going to be answering another listener question.
I'm really excited about this one because I feel like there's a lot of layers to it. There's a lot of nuance to it. And I don't know your answer to this question. So this one comes from Amy in Asheville. And she asks, did either of you experience any doubts in your relationship in the beginning of dating or as you were moving into deeper commitment? Or were you 100% certain about being each other's life partners the whole time?
Well, I'll start. So yes, there was anxiety for me right from the very beginning, even before I swiped on you. It was this weird, it almost felt like I was playing a game until I saw your profile and nothing was serious, nothing. It was just a game. It was like, yeah, I'll date and I'll have fun. In the back of my mind, I'm looking for a serious relationship. But when I saw your profile, I was like, this is going to be real. Like, are you still wanting to play games or are you really ready for a serious relationship? And so that scared the shit out of me. And I've told the story before, but I would, close the app. I would swipe until I got to your profile and then I would close the app because I didn't want to swipe left on you, but I also just didn't want to swipe right yet either because I knew deep down that this was going to be real. And it scared me. It scared me knowing which is crazy that we're married now. And I felt that way because to a person that I would tell that to, they would, which I didn't tell that to anyone, but they would probably say, you're fucking crazy. Like, just fucking swipe on her and go on a date. Like, what the hell? So that's what happened. And I'm super glad I did, obviously, but.
Yeah. So your doubt was more about, or your anxiety was more about commitment versus me, because you didn't even know me at that time, right? But then, what about as the relationship progressed? Did you have any doubts before you, got committed, before we got committed?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there were several things. I mean, the first was on our first date when you told me you were psychic.
Yep.
Like, that really rocked me. That rocked my world because that was I considered myself at the time to be agnostic, and
you were definitely skeptical about psychicness.
Right.
And
exactly. Not
you looked
only
at me like I just grown, a horn out of my head.
Yeah. Right. I didn't know how to react because I was like, this rocks my core belief system.
Yeah.
Which being an agnostic just means you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I still probably lean that way, but I had to really do some deep soul searching after that moment because I was, I started to think about what do I believe in? And, I've always believed in energy connecting us all and love and that, we can motivate each other. If the right energy is going towards the same thing, then anything is possible. And at some point down the road, you just were like, well, that is God. And I was like, oh.
I was like, that's my vision of God. Yeah. God is love. God is energy.
Right.
Yeah.
So I struggled with that for a while. Not enough to not continue to see you, but
right.
It was on several levels. Part of it was, what am I going to tell my friends? What am I going to tell my family? And I did. That was the first thing I told my mom. I remember going home to to tell her. First of all, I think she thought I was gay before this because I was like, I met someone and she gave me this weird look and I was like, a girl. And then I told her, I was like, yeah, she's psychic. And my mom was like, okay, what else? That's it. That's the big bombshell. And yeah, that was it. So that eased my mind right there. And it already was eased because, we had become official at that point. It wouldn't have mattered. Yeah, we were.
By the time you went home?
It was the next day. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
I wasn't going to tell my family I had a girlfriend until I actually had a girlfriend.
That's right.
So yeah, I had, already accepted it and been okay with it, but there was still that.
What's my family
going to think?
Yeah.
Dynamic.
Right.
So yeah, there was that. And I think the point is every date after that date, I felt more and more at ease. My anxiety lessened and lessened as time went on. Even on our second date though, this was more anxiety of being rejected. You came over to my house and I wouldn't put the moves on you or anything. I was like scared to do it. And, I don't know if that goes into this question or not, but there was anxiety there. And it was just, it was personal,
Yeah.
like, yeah, personal anxiety.
Yeah. For me, it's like a both and of yes, I was 100% certain that Joel was my person, and no, I wasn't. And it's weird because I feel like on a like spiritual, intuitive level, I knew from the second you said hello in Bumble because you were responding to me saying hello, like from that freaking Zach Morris response to my Kelly Kapowski gif, like I was like, something in my body was like, ooh, this guy's different. This guy, like, I want to meet this person. And I feel like on our first date, there were lots of signs that you were the one. And in my body and in my like God consciousness, I was very much like, this is the one. But then, I'm also a human in a world where you need to verify that. So something I tell a lot of my clients is we trust our intuition, but then we have to verify it. So I thought you were the one from our first Bumble conversation, but all along the way of dating, I was, gathering data points to verify that I was right. Or not, it wasn't like waiting for the other shoe to drop, but I was open to you not being the one. I was open to being wrong because intuition isn't 100% accurate all the time. So for me, it was like a yes until it's a no. And I would say I didn't really have doubts, but I did have questions.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my only like doubts is the same moment as yours of like, when I said to you that I was psychic, which was not my intention to tell you on a first date, right? Like that's something I would normally reserve until I'm not crazy, and then I can tell you after we've built a little trust, but it just flew out of my mouth, and your face was like, and I instantly thought to myself, well, I'm not getting a second date, and like, but still deep down I was like, this is my person and I'm not getting a second date. Like there was like a confusion of those two. Like my spirit was like, this is the one. But my brain was still trying to analyze, is he or is he not? Is that accurate? Is that not? And then when I got a second date, I was like, okay. And like, pretty much from then on out, I was sold on you. And there were like a few little hiccups, little things that I just like, I needed more information. One of the things on our second date that concerned me was I asked you like why you were single or some version of, like,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit more about your dating past. And you said something, probably just because you were nervous. It wasn't your truth, but you were like, when a relationship like gets so far down the road, I get scared and I run away. And I was like, fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like that is the exact opposite answer.
And the reason I said that was because the real reason was because I just hadn't been in a long-term relationship. There wasn't a real reason.
Right.
It wasn't like this, this fear of anything. It was just, and I thought that sounded better than.
Right. Then, well, I've just never had one.
That running away from commitment sounded better than than just not having a long-term relationship, which is insane.
Right.
And thinking back.
And personally for me, as somebody who has dated a lot of runners and men who avoid commitment, like it was like the exact wrong answer for Nicole, right? And so like out of all the things you could have made up,
yeah, I'm such an idiot.
I was like, oh God. But what's funny is I did not feel something that one of the ways that like my intuition works is I know things in my body. Like in my body, I feel a certain way. And I never felt true body anxiety in your presence, which when I'm with somebody who's not good for me or who's, when I never got the signal to run from you. I was very calm in my body. My nervous system was like smooth sailing. And so my head was like, I don't like that answer. Is this an avoidant man? But my heart and my body were like, you're okay. Everything's chill. Just ask him for some. And the next, maybe the next couple of days, either we talked about it through text or I brought it back up. I was like, hey, can we circle back to that thing you said? Can you clarify that? Yeah. And you were like, I don't know why I said that, you know? And I was like, okay, thank God. And so one of the other things too, though, I remember we were already living together and things were going so smoothly that I was like, on cloud nine. But one day I was driving down the road and you know how like when you drive, you just get like thoughts that come out of nowhere. And I had this random thought. I was driving down the road and I was like, am I going to get bored in this relationship? And that was like the one moment where I was like, am I having a doubt? Am I having a doubt? And I was like, what? Like, why would you? Because it wasn't about you. Like, I was not bored. You're not a boring person at all. And I was having so much fun with you. But our relationship had very little drama. And I'm a person who's used to drama in my romantic life and somebody who I grew up in an alcoholic home. I'm used to turmoil. I'm used to crisis. I'm used to needing to be on alert, needing to like not feel safe. So, where you had like some doubts about your own ability to commit, I had doubts about my ability to be okay feeling safe long term. Like, am I gonna, fuck this up because I can't stand peace?
Yeah.
Like, do I need more drama than this? And
Yeah.
thank God the answer is no, I don't. I actually really love
Yeah.
that there's not a lot of drama in our relationship.
Yeah. Well, that's a big fear for nice guys in general.
Yeah,
We're scared of being rejected for being boring or
that's true.
not being dangerous or exciting or
Yeah. Yeah, and it's true. And you are a nice guy and you're a good guy. And I had to confront that fear in myself of like, okay. But I think for me, I had to separate, is Joel a boring person that I will get tired of versus am I scared to be in a long-term committed relationship where things are steady and safe and like is that like I had to separate, is it Joel or is it really, like you said, is it me? Is it me?
yeah.
And do I have work to do to be the kind of partner? Like, I mean, it's crazy to be like, I don't want a safe, happy relationship. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? But
Yeah.
that's where our human brains and our nervous systems are wired in certain ways. And dating, that's going to come up. You're going to be faced with your inner demons, with your, attachment style, with your insecurities. Like, that's part of dating. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, for me, it's the thing I love the most about being a dating coach. It's why I see my work as like vital to single people, because if you don't have somebody to talk about these things with, then your brain might win. Like my intuition
Yeah.
was saying, this is your person. But what if I'd let my brain be like, nah, you're going to get bored?
Sure.
Like that would have been awful.
Yeah.
And thankfully I had friends and mentors who could be like, Nicole, this is not boredom that you're describing. This is called serenity.
Yeah.
There is a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and again, there is that real fear, the fear of a long-term commitment. I know that's a thing for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And so, but like if my thing is, I think why I brought up that second date, me not making a move, I was able to tell you at one point, like I was petting my dog and anytime I would like get the urge to make a move or something, I would just start petting my dog instead. And I actually told you that.
Yeah.
And I was able to tell you like, hey, this is just like a coping mechanism. Like I'm scared to, and then you were just like, well, do you want to sit closer and put your arm around me? And I did. And yeah. And, and we kissed at the end of the night. And I guess my point is that you eased my anxiety, and that like every time I was anxious about being in a committed relationship or anything about you, your beliefs or any of that got eased through conversation, through me telling you through. So I feel like that's, the answer if you found the right person based on that. Like, especially if you're
Yeah.
having anxiety, tell the person about the anxiety, let them know what you're feeling, what's going on in there. And I know that's not easy all the time. It's really hard, for me, for a lot of people. So yeah, but if if you're able to be vulnerable, be yourself and tell that person about this, do you feel better or worse after you do it? How do they make you feel after you do that? And I feel like there's your answer.
Boom. That is such a great litmus test. And And likewise, like you being vulnerable in that moment of like recognizing that you wanted to make a move on me and you were doing this other thing instead and labeling it coping mechanism. Like I remember I think I even asked you maybe right then, like, have you ever been to therapy? Because people don't necessarily, I feel like coping mechanisms, not a word that unself-aware people use. And, because of my own journey, I just assume that most self-aware humans have been to therapy. And you hadn't. You had just really studied yourself. You'd really been honest with yourself. And then you being vulnerable with me in that moment, instead of it being something where I was like, ugh, that's weird, or I don't like that, I was just like, how can I be helpful in this moment?
Right.
And I feel like likewise, there were so many times when I was vulnerable with you and the way you were able to meet me in that, like, I think that was actually, that deepened our relationship, that deepened our bond. And I think it was like evidence that, like you said, like it was more data that I am with the right person. The fact that I can be vulnerable, the fact that I want to be vulnerable, the fact that I'm met in that with compassion and grace and sometimes challenge. I mean, there are times when we challenge each other in our vulnerability, but like always from a place of like compassion, not from a
Right.
place of like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get your shit together, you
Yeah.
know? So yeah, I think that's a huge one. And it is hard to be vulnerable with people, but the quicker you do it, the quicker you find out if they're the kind of person that deserves your vulnerability.
Right.
And not to like, I don't think anybody should be uber vulnerable from the very beginning.
Yeah, ease into it.
You have to like, people have to earn the right to certain parts of you.
Sure.
Like you drip it out.
Yeah.
But those little drips, just like that moment on the second date was a little drip.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way that I held you in it, it worked out and vice versa.
Right. Yeah. So I felt like those types of things would happen. The last time that I was like truly anxious about our relationship was after our first real fight.
Yeah.
And this was after I'd moved in. So we were living together and we got in a heated fight, and we both said, we didn't say anything that like that is like in my brain.
Undoable.
Yeah, like it's not like a personal blow. It's a certain word, and
you can say what
it was
is.
triggering. I called her unreasonable.
Yeah.
During an argument.
And if you're a woman, and men, you should pay attention to this too. Words like crazy, unreasonable, like men just should not say these things to women.
Yeah. So now I know, and I don't.
Yeah.
That's the last time I've called you
Never
unreasonable.
Never said it again. Yep.
But anyways, it was it was a big fight, and you went to your room and was crying, and I took the dog on a walk, and I was cursing at you on the walk, like, God damn it, I can't believe this. And we navigated through it, and it was really the way that we got past that, and the way that we talked about it, and both realized what we did wrong and moved forward. And then the next day, whenever those emotions finally, it probably took a day or two for those emotions to truly ease. Mm-hmm. But it was the way we navigated through it, that it was after that I was 100% certain that's when it happened.
Oh,
the moment when I was like, I know I want to marry this person.
Really?
Now.
I didn't know that.
So yeah.
Aw. I should fight with you more often.
No, please don't.
No, but I love that, because I agree that some of the like more difficult parts, the more uncomfortable parts of building a relationship are actually where you find out what the relationship is made of. Like when you're vulnerable with each other, when you have a fight with each other, like these things are necessary. And even though I would say, my 100% certain came way earlier than yours, one of the things where we're slightly different is I was certain from day dot, from first Bumble conversation. Mm-hmm. And then I just like, I was a yes until my kind of like.
Yeah, but you trust your body and know that. And like, I don't have, I'm more thinking with my brain. And so, right. Yeah, sure. If I was truly thinking with my body, yeah, I knew a lot sooner too. But
you knew before the profile.
Yeah, exactly. And,
there was something different. There was
the brain doubts.
Yeah, I actually think that's an important distinction that we're stumbling onto. So In my human design, I have a splenic authority, which means that I sense my intuition through my body. And so because I've built a relationship with the intuition and how I sense things in my body, whether I'm safe or I'm not safe, whether it's a green light go or a red light stop, like I trust my body. My body tells me everything I need to know. Not everybody's designed that way. We all have 3 different ways we kind of receive information. We receive it through our brains, through our bodies, and through our intuition. And so you're more brain-based, but your intuition was still running. It was just really a lot quieter. So I actually feel like it's funny because we're saying the same. I think our answer actually might be the same, where we both knew, like we recognized on a soul level, we recognized each other very early on. But I would also say that after our first fight, that was like, for me too, it was more concrete of like, now my intuition has been verified, right? Like we've gone through all these things. We've lived together. We've had a fight. We've been vulnerable. Like I feel like we'd hit all the beats, that all the things I needed to see to feel like I could marry you and know what I need to know. Because it took us a while to have that first fight. So I wasn't ready. I wouldn't have been ready to say yes to a proposal until after that fight either, actually.
Right.
So maybe our answer's kind of the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because my brain wasn't, I mean, my intuition was aware that you were the one, but my brain, I still need my brain to be on board. Like I want all of my feelings, my intuition, my brain, my body, I want all of it to be in alignment to be a full yes,
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, I agree. And I think the main point I have, the main answer I have for you is to just, if your partner makes you feel less anxious when you're vulnerable, then there's your answer. If he makes you feel more anxious, then there's either more work to be done or it's not your person. But I feel like that's the great answer to relationships.
Yeah, I think that's a really solid answer. And my answer is going to be a little more specific to you, Amy, because you did give us additional context. I know that you started dating somebody new, and he is amazing. He's attractive, emotionally intelligent, kind, respectful, all the things. You've seen only green flags from this person. And you also shared that you sometimes find yourself wondering, is this my person? I think that asking that question has no indication of whether he is or isn't your person. The question is still a solid question to ask. We should be checking, I feel really good with this person, but is this my person? And I would offer you, is this question about him or is it about you? And I think that will give you a lot of information to play with of like, am I asking this question because of my own fear of perhaps commitment or the next step? Or am I asking this question because I really have questions about this human being right for me? And I think that'll help you land somewhere. But ultimately, it's always trust yourself and gather the data to verify what you know.
Well, I hope this helps, and I hope you and this guy, I hope it works out and you guys live happily ever after.
Oh yeah, we always hope for the happily ever after.
All the things. And yeah, if you have questions, we'd love to answer them. So there's a link in the show notes and ask us anything. All right.
Bye.